the real NV87, the blind NV87, the NV87 who doesn't care what the screen looks like. When you have a tough decision to make, and you don't even know who to talk to about it, because a lot of the people that you would talk to, I mean, there's not a lot of people that you would want to talk to about it, and of the ones that you might want to talk to about it, both of the people you're thinking of are in the same group that you're trying to decide. How committed are you to it? How loyal are you to it? Do you want to stay in it? And this is not the time to agonize over this either. I'm awake at... Alexa, what time is it?
The time is 4:22 a.m.
I need to be back asleep, because I've got 4:22 to 5:22, 6:22. I literally have 2 hours before I have to get up and start getting ready for work, because I have got the earliest freaking door-to-door transit window ever, considering I don't have to be there until 10. But I always tell them to have me there by 9:30, and this time I said, have me there by 9:30, and they said, we'll see your place sometime between 7:36 and 8:06. I'm like, geez, fine. I mean, what do you say? You don't have any choice but to yield to their windows, no matter how inconvenient and ridiculous they are. Because it's a shared ride service, and your 20-minute commute turns into an hour and 20 minutes if you are going that far and they have that many people in their schedule to pick up and drop off. Now do you see why I can't stop griping about door-to-door transit? But Uber, well, Uber is way more convenient. And Uber, I can call Ira, my virtual assistant that works through a smartphone app. I just spent, in my last video, if you watch my last video, the Sunday vlog / Walgreens haul, I yammered for 15 minutes about Ira, so I'm not going to do it again today. I love him, but I could spend forever talking about Ira, or we could make this a daily vlog. Uber, I could call Ira and say, I just sent for an Uber, can you keep an eye on him? Actually, I could just call Ira and say, I haven't even called for an Uber yet, would you do it? But when your default payment method is different from the one that Ira can use, it gets a little tricky. But Uber's definitely more convenient, and Uber, Ira can keep track of. Door-to-door transit, they can't. But the problem with Uber is it's easily $15 to $20 per trip. And as of right now, I don't just have the random $15, $20 to throw around any old time. Now, I've hired a, let's just call her a money coach. She specializes in tricks to save money, obviously legally and ethically, making your money go farther. And as I work with her, I literally just hired her. I just signed up to be one of her clients, and she's gonna help me learn about taking the money that I have and making it go farther. And maybe with her help, I can get to the point where I can make a door-to-door transit ride and then maybe call to pretend to confirm it. But what I'm really doing is getting ready to cancel it. Hi, I just wanted to confirm my window for tomorrow. Yeah, 7:36 to 8:06. You know, I have figured out another way to get there. Never mind, I'm calling to cancel it. Then, since I have the money, because I've been using my coach's tips and tricks and making my money go further, therefore having the money to buy another Uber gift card and put that on my Uber cash pile, either that or put the money straight into my account and do the Uber cash that way, I can turn around and say, okay, you know, yeah, let's cancel it, because I've got plenty of Uber cash. I'm taking an Uber, I'm leaving at 9 o'clock or 8:45. I'll be there at 9:45, 9:30, whatever. And I didn't have to... I mean, I don't necessarily mind driving around for an hour. I actually kind of like it. But I don't like having to be up and ready to walk out the door literally 3 hours before I have to start work. 2 hours before I have to start work. Well, if I'm gonna lie here and not actually go to sleep, but watch this, I don't want to know what's going on there. If I'm gonna lie here watching the news and these things are gonna come up, I might as well bring my camera, aka vlogging recorder, so I can vlog about stuff. First of all, I hope that story comes up, not the one I'm watching right now, but I'm not paying attention. I don't want to know what happened there. The story that I am talking about, I hope they put that up on YouTube so I can link it down below. It's a really cool story. It was actually, it started on the same day that resolution came to the other story that I've been following. Remember the food cart got stolen and the guy behind the business ended up getting a tip on Facebook and calling the police. They get there and they find these thieves' secret lair. There's a whole buttload of stolen stuff, not just his stuff. So it was these guys stole it, here, come get it back ring. How awesome is that? And then what I saw today was about, on the same day that story aired, another story aired about a guy who got his motorcycle stolen. And then 2.5 years later, he's still getting speeding tickets about some guy riding his bike, which is stolen, and he's speeding. But I mean, now he's caught in the middle of this other guy's speeding tickets. Okay, first of all, he's like, okay, this isn't me. Second of all, okay, this guy is having a great time on my bike that I loved. Well, that story grabbed the attention of the guy who racked up those tickets. Apparently, thief steals the bike, sells it off to some other guy. Other guy speeds around town.
Today is Veterans Day, and as a thank you
Yeah, and today is not a holiday that my workplace takes off. I wish it was for all the wrong reasons. I wish it was so I wouldn't have to go into work and deal with this 7:36 to 8:06 window bullcrap. Let me stop. If anyone's watching that has fought for our country, thank you for your service. Why your holiday is not a federal holiday that is celebrated all the time, everywhere. I mean, what the difference is between that and Labor Day, or that and Thanksgiving, or that and Christmas, I'm not sure, but thank you for putting your life on the line to fight for the freedoms that we do appreciate. And, I mean, I don't think I can imagine what it would be like to live in a country where you couldn't do what you wanted to do. Like, you were forced to... Look, I live here because... I kind of had my own pilgrimage, I guess, to get away from... I guess I kind of had an opposite oppression from what they had in Europe. If and when I tell that story, I'll tell that story, but I had to get away from the influence of relatives in another state who wanted me to be the puppet they had raised, not the person that I really am. And I live on the other side of the country because of that. And I can't imagine being in a country where one person's way is the only way you're allowed to be. And if that's what this country would be, if it wasn't for your service, then I owe you a debt of gratitude. And for those of you who your life will never be the same because you fought for our freedoms and you got shot or caught in the crossfire of an improvised explosive device or IUD, Oh my God. IED. Improvised explosive device. IUD is not. Wrong. Okay. Okay, seriously though, thank you for your service. I'm all over the place. Anyway, the story is, guy has bike, guy gets bike stolen, thief sells bike, guy who buys bike speeds all over town, guy who buys bike sees his picture on the news, guy who buys bike is like, what's my picture doing on the news? Guy who buys bike watches story, news reporter says, your bike is stolen and you're speeding around town with it, and the guy who was the victim of this theft is being sent your speeding tickets and expected to pay. Guy who bought stolen bike has a conscience. Guy who bought stolen bike contacts news station, apparently in a more effective way than I did, and says, how do I meet up with this guy so I can give him back his bike? It's not right for me to be having the time of a lifetime on a stolen bike. I didn't realize it was stolen. I just bought it. Thanks, guy who inadvertently bought a stolen bike. You're doing the right thing. Brings a nice story into another day of news full of negative shit that's going on in the world, because we live in a messed up world. Seriously, it's cool to get these stories of humanity not always being so evil and nasty and heartless and mean. A glimmer of joy and kindness can go a long way. Please, KGW, put that up on YouTube so I can link it below. That's a cool story. The other thing I was going to talk about is, this is why I don't get ground beef. Of course, the same thing could happen with chicken, I guess, but the first time I have to text my boss and say, there's no way I'm coming in today, there's no way I'm going anywhere except the hospital. I am sick as a dog. Tummy flu central, except it's not tummy flu. I've got food poisoning. That is, no. And people are coming down with that from ground beef. That's why when I've got chicken that I have forgotten about and let sit out for 4 hours, I don't put it back in the fridge. It goes in the trash. Yeah, throwing money away, not what I like to do. In a lot of ways, cooking chicken and throwing it away is throwing money away. But what would you rather do? What would I rather do? Throw it in the trash or eat it and then want to die because I can't stop throwing up? Throwing up is the worst. That's why, like I said, when I cook it and forget about it, it goes in the trash. I haven't done that for a while, but when I do, that's what I have to do. The thing is, though, sometimes it's not my fault, or the person who cooked it's fault. Sometimes it was just bad meat, and this is part of why I don't get ground beef. That and the fact that you find gristle and bone, and that just gives me the EBGBs, like, no. These stories make me fucking sick.
Don't have a description of the driver. For now, you should avoid this area. We'll certainly keep you updated as we learn more. Police are also investigating.
Why should you avoid that area? Because somebody fucking ran somebody down with their car and then just kept driving off. People, look, I don't understand this whole, I'm blind, so I can't drive, so I don't understand this whole idea of blind spots and you can't see people as they're headed out. Maybe that was an accident. Okay, that I can understand. But driving off like a fucking puppy with your tail between your legs, running away because you know your owner's pissed off at you because you ate something you weren't supposed to eat, is not an accident. That should be in a freaking coward that can't even have enough heart to realize, okay, I ran somebody down. Maybe I should, hang out and call 911 and at least face up to what I did. Okay, no one wants the cops on your tail. But doing the right thing and getting the cops involved maybe won't get you in as much trouble as taking off will. Sorry. As you can tell, I get really pissed off at people who hit people with their car and then just run off. I hope you can live with yourself when there's a family that doesn't have someone that they used to have and should have because you hit them and didn't even stop. Would stopping have kept them alive? Well, maybe. You were the first one on the scene. You know, you could have called 911. Maybe by the time the paramedics got there, there would have been a chance to save them. And even if there wasn't, at least...
Now to an update on a story we first told you about last week. A Portland man had
Why don't I just
speeding tickets in the mail for his
let this run?
Which was stolen 2 years ago. The tickets came with a photo of somebody else driving. Well, we showed that photo in our news story, called us to return the motorcycle to its rightful owner. Lindsay Nadrich was there as the two met up to make things right.
What's up, Matt?
Pleased to finally meet you.
This is a moment Eric Kress never thought would happen.
Absolutely not. No way. This is crazy. This is crazy. It's been such a weird story from day one.
Eric's motorcycle was stolen from his home in 2017. Then, a few months later, speeding tickets started showing up in the mail for his stolen bike. Along with those tickets, a photo of a stranger riding it. Here's what he said about those photos when we talked to him on Wednesday.
At first I was relieved that it wasn't chopped up or whatever, but then I was like, this guy is out having fun. He's playing with my pet. Here he is having good times in the world.
The guy out there riding Eric's pet was Matt Young.
I've had a lot of fun with it. It's time to give it back to this guy. I had no idea it was stolen.
Matt says he bought it from someone else a year and a half ago and didn't know it was stolen until he saw his picture pop up on the news. He also didn't know he was getting those speeding tickets since they were being mailed to Eric. Matt watched our story several times, then called us to arrange a meeting with Eric to give him back his bike.
This is you, buddy. I'm taking 4,000 tickets and giving away my horse, but I watched that article twice today, again.
Yeah.
And you go, somebody's out there with my pet. You know, and it kind of brought a tear to my eye, so there you go.
Get it, right? You're a motorcycle guy. Somebody
Yeah,
riding
I get it, yeah.
Somebody riding your bike. I got a couple buddies that were actually pulling for you. They were like, I don't know, man. I hope that guy keeps riding your bike. Look at him. He's having a good time.
They exchanged a few laughs and then the keys.
That's your bike.
The bike isn't quite the same,
This majestic eagle is not quite my own.
and Eric may never know the full story of where it's been. But none of that matters now.
It's pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool to get it back. It really is. 2.5 years.
He's got a big smile on his face. That's a good thing.
Lindsay Nadrich, KGW News.
And thanks to the video that we're about to show you.
Doesn't that story just warm your heart?
3 people have gotten sick from ground beef sold at 3 Portland area grocery stores.
That's the other story.
That beef was sold between October 19th and the 23rd. If you bought it, throw it out. It was ground fresh at the store, and it came in 5, 10, and 20% fat content. New Seasons has stopped selling the beef while health officials investigate. The store says everybody who got sick is recovering.
President Trump
See, that's why I don't. That's what I'm talking about. There they are. Those are both stories. There is no way in the world I'm editing this right now. By the time I get good and ready to edit it, anything that was aired this morning will probably be on YouTube. I don't know if I'm going to put that ground beef story up, but I'm definitely putting that bike story up, because that's what makes me smile on this tough morning of naturally waking up at 4-something in the morning. I mean, I fell asleep at about 10, so that's about 6 hours. I guess that's okay, but if okay is not good enough, I don't want to find out the wrong way, the hard way. I really am whining and griping about things that, in the long run, are not that important. I'm just being myself, though. It's like, I'm done trying to put on a front for people who watch YouTube. This is AnnV87. This is the real AnnV87. This is why I've changed my intro. This is part of the reason why I've changed my intro, and it was partly just to make it shorter. I say the real NV87, the blind NV87, the NV87 who doesn't give a damn what the screen looks like. Because that's really the point. This is me being me, and if you don't like it, unsubscribe. As detrimental as that is to my idea of monetization, well, 37 subscribers isn't going to get me subscribed. By the way, shout out to my new subscribers. Hi. Thanks for subscribing. It definitely helps, even though I'm nowhere near monetization. Hold on. Okay. Your subscription doesn't make me near monetization, but it makes me like the tiniest baby step closer. And for that, I'm thankful. That said, to anyone else who doesn't like what they're hearing and seeing, and literally what they are hearing and seeing, you're never going to see the camera follow me. You're never going to be able to follow me with your eyes through my day. And if you don't like it, kiss my butt, okay? I'm blind. I can't look in the viewfinder. I don't have the patience to sit through listening to a shitload of audio over and over again just so I can know, okay, that one's a minute and 20 seconds. That one's 3 minutes and 14 seconds. That one's 6 minutes and 12 seconds. That one's a minute and 10. 4:13. 2:05. 50. 1:50. 2:35. You know, on and on and on. Trying to keep this straight or even write it down so you can go back and somehow find this screen, double tap on them all, select them, go to iMovie, still somehow make sure the playhead's where it needs to be so that it all comes in the right order, edit it all together. Oh my God, that is not me. And I don't know if it ever will be me, but yeah. Anyway, she does it her way, and bless her heart for that. I do it my way, and if you don't like it, too damn bad. Holiday shopping season is officially here, but it's not even Thanksgiving yet. That's another thing. I am going to say this probably every year for the rest of my life, and if you don't like it, well, please be respectful about giving your opinion, and everyone has the right to their opinion, but I think there's something in late November called Thanksgiving that we're forgetting about because we're so busy trying to figure out what to put under the Christmas tree for everyone we love. Well, is it really about putting things under the Christmas tree for people that we love, or is it about making money for retailers? I mean, give November back to Thanksgiving. I can't even say it, but I believe it. Give November back to Thanksgiving. Anyway, this is the real NV87, and if you don't like it, too bad. And me vlogging is just me being myself, and I'm not always going to be chipper and positive, and I'm trying to draw out more like perspective and positivity in the sense that, like, at this time a year or two ago, I probably wouldn't have said anything about how there are more severe problems that people have, and really, I should be thankful that no one that I care about is severely ill or injured or dead. You know, people get those calls all the time, and thank God that's not the case for me. That's where I was going with all that. I call it a tough morning, but the fact that the few people that I do know and love and care about really are okay is something to be thankful for. It's a tough morning in the sense that I'm reading emails I don't want to read, and I'm awake and I shouldn't be, and I hope it doesn't come back to kick me in the ass when I'm supposed to be working. Because if I took a day off every time I woke up at an inopportune time, I'd never work. And randomly deciding, shit, I don't want to go to work, I'm just gonna not go in, is not in line with my work ethic. And as much as I sometimes wish I could do that, I'm not going to. So, it's one thing, that weekend that I felt this cold coming on Friday, woke up Saturday feeling icky, fever, everything, didn't do anything all day, woke up Sunday, still didn't feel good. still running a fever. Woke up Monday, still didn't feel that great, but temp was back down, so I went to work. I should have called in sick. Maybe even the day after, I should have called in sick. Or I could have gone in for the meeting and then called in sick the next day. You know, that's the week I should have taken sick days. Randomly just deciding, shit, I'm not going to deal with this, I'm not going to work, is not only is that inappropriate use of PTO, paid time off, but it's just not who I am. You know, you suck it up, you go to work, unless you're, like, really sick. There is such a thing as being sick, and really, you shouldn't be there. And sometimes it's a fine line that I don't notice. That's something I can work on. But taking a day just to take a day because I woke up earlier than I should have, and I know I should be sleeping right now, but I'm not. And my door-to-door transit window getting in there sucks. And officially it's a holiday, but it's one of the very few that we don't celebrate at our workplace. And I don't like that, so I'm not going into work. That's not enough of a reason to not go to work. So I'm going to work. And for right now, I'm going to turn this off and see if I can get any kind of sleep at all. I've got about an hour before my alarm goes off and tells me that I need to at least start thinking about getting up and, like, seriously getting ready for this window that opens way too freaking early. I'm either going to ride around for an hour and a half or get to work so early that... And again, I like being there early and hanging out in the break room, but if I turn around and have a hard time staying awake later on in the day, that's time that I should have been sleeping. And instead I was riding around and hanging out in the break room. You know what? I think I need to just stop vlogging and just check out for a few more minutes. I'll see you later in part 2 when the actual workday starts. Early, though it may have to freaking start. Yeah, I hate this window. Please follow me on Twitter, or if you must, on Facebook. Check out the description below for services and petitions that I believe in. And I'll see you in the next video when you hear what I have to say.